So I'm working at a much faster rate because my intent is to reward him attending to me more and or him doing something with the environment other than sniffing. Come on, buddy. So I'm just gonna, here we go. This is exactly what I want. I'm gonna pay this because it's part way to what I want. And I wanna see Boogie try. So we're gonna come around here and see what he'll show you guys if I, hopefully you see more of him. Good. So you notice I slowed, and I paid that effort. I'm not helping him, I want to see him make the effort to get up. And I want him to understand that that's what the click is for. Yeah, buddy. So there's the effort, and I'm going to help him on the next one because he really threw himself into that. Good boy. Come on up. You got him. There we go. Very nice. So I can steady this with my leg, and then I can take my leg off. Good boy. There are very likely to be some unstable environments in Boogie's future working role, assuming that he gets one. So now I'm going to take my leg off this. Good boy. I've got a decent grip on this leash here. I'm going to wobble that a bit more. Good boy. And I'm upping the rate of reinforcement while it's tougher. There we go. Lost a couple. There we go. That's good. Now let's turn around this way. It's very wobbly, buddy. Quickly stepped in and just stop it with my calf there. Slow it down. Good. Let's go. Let's go, buddy. Come on down. You got it. Why would you want to come down when it's been paying so well? That's what I want to know. Very good, pal. Whoa. But look at that attitude. I missed that stabilising there with my leg. I'll let it go here. Good. A lot of his weight's on his front feet here. He's pushing out towards where he gets fed. And so hopefully you guys can pick up on this. And you can see that tail of his is not a bad little indicator, it would seem, at this point. Good. So I pushed him a little further there. I wanted him to fail a little bit. I wanted to see him come back. And let's do that one more time here. And even if he falls off, that's fine. There's not far for him to go. Good boy. That's it, buddy. Let's go. Yeah, buddy. Very good. And that's it for today. I'll put him back in the van. Let's go, big guy. You're so tough. My goodness, look at you, you little stud. Quickly now. Very nice. Come on, buddy. Ready? Come on up. Atta boy. Oh, that's the best. Very good. Just feed him a little bit more because he jumped straight in the van, straight in the box. I definitely want to reward that. So I'll just quickly put my equipment back so that I understand exactly what I need. So now let's have a little bit of a talk. Thanks for bearing with me. So it should be reasonably self-evident for you guys that in any future working role, and let's see if I can hold stable on this, but in any future working role that Boogie does find himself in, we need a dog that can cope with stress. We need a dog that remains optimistic throughout that. We need a dog that can problem solve under stress. So we can wrap part of that up as resilience. Now, certainly there's a strong genetic component to resilience that cannot be overlooked. However, having said that, you could take the best dog and not put him in a position where he has to develop those potentials, and then you're never going to see the greatest example of that dog. So this particular drill, the way that, at least that I break it down on the spot as I'm trying to add some value for you in terms of the way that I approach this. So this is potentially stressful, it's certainly unstable. This is the first instance of this drill that he has ever done with me. He's never seen anything even remotely close to this. And then of course you see that it starts to wobble. That makes it unpredictable and novel. So there's huge value in that. But of course, I didn't just put him on here and start shaking it. I went back a step and I wanted him to choose to interact with this. That's an important step, because if he chooses to interact with this, then what he's choosing to do is to interact with something novel, right? Novel things can hold varying potentials for a dog in terms of their instinctive response to them. And I definitely want Boogie to come to think that novel things are worth his investigation and his interaction. So he chooses this, we successively approximate towards him getting up. He didn't actually get up, I rewarded his efforts, right? And when I rewarded his effort, you could see that he came back and he had more effort. And then we got to the point where he was around here and he threw himself up. He threw himself up here. He threw himself up here. He wasn't going to be able to quite get it, or I didn't think he could, because he did later. And I just helped him up a little bit. Now, how did I help him up? I helped him up a little roughly. I didn't help him up with kid gloves. Why? Because he's not going to have that all through his life. He's very familiar with collar pressure. He's completely fine with that. He's a robust little dog, so I helped him up a little bit. The moment that he moved up, he got reinforced, and he continued to get a lot of reinforcement, and I'd introduce the stress, then I'd stop the stress, and then I'd reinforce him. I'd introduce the stress, I'd stop the stress, and then I'd reinforce him again. He would get stress, he'd also get reinforcement during stress. So my aim here is to teach him that this thing, which may be innately stressful, right, it's definitely a novel stimulus, this thing isn't to be considered a problem. This is just something that happens while you're trying to work and stay on task. You shouldn't let it throw you. We see him lose his footing a little bit and come off. That's great. What I really want to see there is him struggle to get back on, and he did jump back up. So that is what I like to see. That is what I'm aiming for. We will come back and do this more. I'm glad you got to see his first exposure. There are people out there that are smarter at what they do and that have a more in-depth understanding than what I have, but I'll leave it to you to explain it another way. This is the way that I look at things in this quick breakdown, which hopefully offers you guys some value and some insight into what I'm doing. That's it. I've talked enough. Take care.